Phil!
Are you listening? Damn.
Hello everyone, today we see how to create this really cool Avengers type effect in here, as you can see. So we see how to do that using Adobe Photoshop. Alright, fantastic, so let's get to it. Okay, so first of all, you need to download the font we'll be using in here. It's called Avengers Heroic Avenger by Foundry. I will make sure to put this link in the description below, so you can just download it and install it before you open your Adobe Photoshop. Therefore, you will find it in the font in Photoshop. Alright, so we just close that, and I will go to my Photoshop in here, and I will go to File, and I will make a new file by pressing New. And in the width and height, you can choose whatever width and height you want. It depends how big you want your text will be and your image, if you would use it in an image. In the resolution, you can, if you want to print it or something, you can just make it higher resolution for the print, but I will just keep it in this measures in here and hope it's okay. So I will go to type, and I will just one click, and I will type Avengers, and I'll press Ctrl T to make it bigger, something like this. Alright, press enter. Now we need to make this circle in here. So it's easy to do, so we just go to the elliptical marquee tool in here, and I will make a new layer, and I will just, by pressing shift, I can align a perfect circle. So we just make it something like this, and I will just let go, and I will press Alt Delete so I can fill it with black. Now I press Ctrl D to deselect. Now I will make another circle inside. So something like this. Alright, and we just press delete so I can just delete what's inside. Press Ctrl D to deselect. Now we need to delete a little bit from here and a little bit from here. So we just go to the pen tool in here, and we just one click and another one in here. So again, we just one click like this, and alright, something like that, and I will just delete this part in here because we don't need it. So press Ctrl Enter to make a selection, and I will just delete this part in here. Press Ctrl D to deselect. And in here, we need to delete this part in here, so we just delete like that. Again, Control Enter to delete, and delete like this. Control D to deselect, and there we go. We have our circle. It won't be exact same in there, but you got the idea. So now we just make this both layers in here in a smart object. So we just select both of them, and we just right click, and we choose convert to smart object, and this way we'll have it in here as a layer in here. Now I will just make a copy of it 2 times, and I will just this Avengers, and I will make this one in here in case we will need it later, because we'll make a lot of layer size. So the first effect in here, so let me just uncheck this one, we'll make our first effect in here. So we just double click to it, and in the blending option make sure to put the fill opacity to 0. This case we will make just the effects we'll be using in here. So I will go to bevel and emboss first, and I will change the style to, I guess now I will just keep it in inner bevel, and in technique make sure it's chisel hard in here, and the depth just make 100. Direction, keep it up. No, sorry, just make it down. And the size, we'll just keep it 12. But if you have like different pixel, just make it 12. And the shading in here, just uncheck use global lights and make the angle 120, and altitude make it 30, and the linear the gloss contour in here, make sure like to choose this one in here, rounded steps, and make sure to put anti-aliased in here, and in the highlights make the highlights mode to linear dodge add, and put this. I already like have this one in here because I already made it in this file in here, so it's by default keep the setting in here. So just put this color in here, press OK, and shadow mode make it to overlay and put this color in here and press OK. Now go to the contour and choose this one in here, just choose it and make sure like to check anti-aliased here and make 100 range. Now we'll go to the inner shadow in here. This will start to look like now, and we'll just put the blending mode to multiply, as you can see in here, and put it 80%, and uncheck use global lights in case you have it checked, and put 57 for the angle, and 9 distance, and 8 shock, and 7 size. And make sure like to change the contour to this one in here, and again check this one. And now we go to inner glow, and now doesn't have the same setting, so now we'll be working. Now I will go to the blending mode and choose it to linear burn, and in here make it 100% opacity, noise make it 0, and change the color to this dark brownish color. So just 7C0909, press OK, and just make the shock 0, and in the size in here I would just put 20, and I just keep everything else like this, and go to satin in here, and in the blending mode just change it to color dodge, and change the color to 9, 25, 155 in here, and press OK. Just reduce the opacity to 15, and the angle in here just to 20. It's hard like to remember this setting. I have it typed, so just make the distance to 40 and the size 100, and in the control to change it to this one in here, and there you go. Then we have our first effect in here, as you can see. But if you we need like to make it blur a little bit in the edges in here, so we just go to filter and choose blur, Gaussian blur, and I will just make it like a really like tiny blur, 0.3 or 0.4, like that, as you can see, 0.4. to make it just blur a little bit in here, and press OK. Alright, now we'll go and check our next effect in here. Alright, and we just double click to it, and this one in here, like we don't need to make the fill opacity to 0, just keep it like this. And the first we'll do is bevel and emboss, and we'll just keep the style to inner bevel, but in the technique this time we'll choose smooth, and I will just make it higher, like 900. Let's see, something like 949 or 50, just like that. And I will make the direction to up. As you can see, this way it looks like it's pushed down. Now I will change the size to, I will make it 200 or something like this, as you can see. And we'll keep the soften to 0, and the angle we'll just keep it 120 and 13 here for the altitude. And in the gloss contour in here, we change it to the default in here. So we just make the highlight mode to linear light, but let's choose linear light. And we'll make the opacity for like 20, like that. And we change the color to this one in here, AC 80 AC, and press OK. And we just make the shadow mode to multiply again, and I will just make the color to black, like that, and we just make it 75. Now we'll go to the inner shadow, and I will just change the color. Let's first change the blending mode to linear burn, and I will just reduce the opacity to 25%. Alright, and I will just change the color to this one in here, 955 F2F, and I'll press OK. And in the angle I will choose -90, and in the distance 5, 0, 15, and I will choose 15. And the contour I will just make it into default in here, and just go to the inner glow, and I will change the color to B C0E. No, it's BCDCDE. So press OK. So this light blue in here, and I will just change the blending mode to overlay, and I would make it down for like 50 or 60%. Alright, and in here I will choose center, and I will choose 10 by 30, and I will just keep this in the default in here. Now I will change the color now in the color overlay, and I will just choose this color in here, 330202, and then press OK. As you can see, now it started to look better. Now I will go to the drop shadow, and I will change this color to this one in here, 214, sorry, 4, and I choose E63, and I will just make it 50%, and I will choose the blending mode to linear burn, and I will just uncheck use global light, and in the distance I will choose 2, in the size 10, and I will press OK. That's our second effect in here. As you can see, it started to look like the Avengers in here. So now I will just make the same blur in here. So we just go to filter, and as you can see in here, there is already a historic contour plus F in here. So we just press Ctrl F, and it will make the same Gaussian blur to it. So I will just press OK, as you can see. Now this is our first effect, so I will just make it in a group by pressing Ctrl G, and I'll call this effect 1. Just call it effect. Alright, now we'll make a kind of shadow, or like you know, shade in here coming from this. But first let's change the placement of this circle in here. This is really bothering me. I want it to be aligned with this V letter in here, like this. So this is what's great about this style in here. Like the first font in here, like I made to a smart object, I can just go easily and double click to it, and you know, just adjust wherever I want. So now I will just just select this circle and just align it like this to match like the V in here, as you can see, like this. So I'll just, and then we need to delete this one in here, so we'll just go to the eraser tool and I'll just delete. And now I just press Ctrl S to save it, and when I go to the main file in here, I will just find it saved, but not just in this layer in here, but in the other layers as well. So this is really cool. So we can change wherever we want, and it will apply it in the same layer with all the effects. Now we just go and we just make a copy of this by pressing Ctrl G, and I will make it under the effect folder in here, and I will just double click to open the layer style dialog. And again, in this one in here, we don't need like to make the fill opacity to 0, so we just go directly to the bevel and emboss in here, and I will just keep the style to inner bevel, and I will keep the technique to smooth, but in the depth I will just choose 60%, and I will keep it up, but in the size I will make it 3, and in the angle I will just keep it 120 and 30, and in here I will just keep it but like that. But in the highlight mode I will change it to color dodge in here, and I will make the opacity to 50%, and I will change the color to this green kind of color. So I will just choose B6A6, and I will just press OK. And this one I will just make the blending mode to color burn, and I will change the opacity to 100%, and I will make the color to this dark color in here, 3A3733, and I will choose OK. Now I will go to a gradient overlay, so we can change all the color in here. So we just go to gradient overlay, and I will just change the blending mode to soft light, and I will make the opacity 100, and I will just make the side to linear, and I will go to the gradient in here, and I will just let me first change the angle to 90% angle, and I would make the scale to 100, and I will change the color in here to this dark gray and gray color. So we just change this one in here to 2E, 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 and I will press OK, and I will change this one into a soft color, so 919191, and I will just OK, press OK. Now I will go to the pattern overlay, and I will just make the blending more normal, and I will keep it 100, and I will just choose this one in here. It's called shag. I will shag rug, and I will just, you can find it in the default pattern, but I don't remember where, so I will just make sure to upload this for pasting in here. You can just adjust wherever you want. So we choose 500%, and then press OK. Now we're gonna use the same blur in here, so we just press Ctrl F and then press OK. Alright, now this is like the easiest part. You can just keep duplicating this one in here. So we just move it into the right a little bit, like that. As you can see, if I zoom in, you can just find it like this, as you can see. Now if I press Alt and keep move it into the right, it will duplicate it as many time I want. So I'll just press Alt in my keyboard, and by pressing the arrow right key in my keyboard, I will just keep pressing like this. As you can see, it will make it duplicated as much as I want. So, alright, something like that looks cool. As you can see, there's how it looks like now. Like if I want to keep going like this, you can just keep going like this. So, but I'm satisfied with it. As you can see, it will make a really nice 3D look effects to it. Alright, looks cool. Now we just make every layer in here in a group by pressing Ctrl G. Now we'll make a shadow. Okay, let's first call this 3D, and I will just make a duplicate of this one here by pressing Ctrl G, and I will just replace it under this 3D file in here, folder in here. So I will just call this shadow. Okay, and I will need like to duplicate it for like 4 times. So I will just press Ctrl G, okay. And first I will just go to this one in here, and I will make the fill to 0, and I will just double click to it, so I will enter the light side dialog. And the first thing I will do, I will just make a color overlay. So I will just change this blending mode to linear blur in here, and I will change the color to this color in here, 707381. It's light purple. Press OK, and I will make the opacity to 30%. And next I will go to the drop shadow, and I will just make the blending mode to drop shadow. And I will make the blending mode to pin light. So I will just go to this one in here, and I will change the color to this dark purple 5555F83, and I will just press OK, and I will make the opacity to 60%. And of course, if it was use global light checked, just uncheck it and make the angle 120 and the distance 0 and the spread 0 and size 15, and press OK. This will be our first shadow in here. Doesn't look that much, but we'll make it look improve it. So we just go again to filter, and again I will choose blur, Gaussian blur, but this time I will just make it 4 radius pixel in here. So we'll just put 4 and I'll press OK. And we won't just use Gaussian blur, so I will go again to filter, and I will choose blur. This time I will choose motion blur. As you can see, I will make the angle 0, and the distance I will choose 30%. As you can see, press OK. It doesn't look. As you can see, if I zoom, it started like to give it this shadow in here. And again, if I change the color to this bluish color in here, it will like make it look like shadow. So now I will go to this another copy in here, and again I will make the fill opacity to 0, and I will double click to it, and then we go again to color overlay, and this time I will make it to linear burn, and I will change the color to this one in here, 51556 and I will press OK, and I will make the opacity 25, and again I will go to drop shadow, and I will change the color this time to this one in here, 817072, and I will press OK, and I will change the opacity to 15, and again uncheck use global light if it's checked, and this time distance I will give it 30 pixel, and spread 0, and the size 30 pixel too. Press OK, and again I will use the same Gaussian blur, so I will just go filter, blur, Gaussian blur, but this time I will just make it 6 instead 4. Press OK, and again filter, blur, motion blur this time, and I will just make the angle -90, and the distance I would make it 60%, like so. As you can see, it will give it this really cool shadow in here. Now we'll go to our other copy in here, and again I will make the fill to 0%, and I will just double click to it, and this time I would only use global light, so I will only use color overlay, sorry. So I would choose 5537097, and I'll press OK, and I will keep it 25%, and I'll press OK, and I will go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur again, and I will make it 4, press OK, and I will go to filter, blur, motion blur, and I will keep it -90, but in the distance I will reduce it to 45, and I will press OK. As you can see, it will give it this really cool shadow. So in our last one in here, I will just again make the fill to 0% and double click to it, and I will go to color overlay, and this time I will make it this color in here, C3CA, and I will press OK, and this time I will choose 50% for the opacity, and I will go to the drop shadow, and I will choose this gray in here, 60, and I press OK, and I will change the blending mode to linear burn, and I will make the opacity 15, and again if it was a global light, uncheck that, and make it 30 and 30, and press OK. Now we're only gonna use Gaussian blur in this time, so I will just make it really like high, so maybe 20, like this, as you can see, and I'll press OK. And there we go, we have our shadow in here. Looks cool. Now we just make everything in a group by pressing Ctrl G and just call this shadow. As you can see, let's make the background a bit better, so I will just double click to the background, and I will just give it a gradient overlay. Maybe I will change this color to this blue in here. Alright, this one in here I will change it to okay, and I will change the side to radial. I will reverse that, and I will just make it spread more, like that. Alright, okay, something like this, it's okay. Alright, now we're almost done. Now we'll make the final effect. So we go to our first layer in here, and we will make the fill to 0, and I will just double click to it, so we can apply a layer style also to it. So I will just go to the bevel on emboss first, and this time this side I will just change it to stroke emboss in here, and I will change the technique to Shizu hard, and in the depth I will keep it 100 and direction up, and size I will just change it to 5, and for the shading I will make sure first to global light is off, so I will just uncheck that, and I will make the angle to 120, and the altitude I will just keep it 30, and for the blurs contour I will just change it to this one in here. Let's choose this one, and I will check anti-areas in here, and the highlights I will keep it screen, and I will keep the color to white, and the opacity I will make it 75%, and the shadow mode I will keep it multiply, but the color I will make it soft gray, so I will press 9D, 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 and press OK, and I will change the opacity to 75%. Now I'll go to the contour, so I will just change the contour to this one in here, and I will just make the anti-alias on, and now we'll choose the texture, because we'll be using a texture for this one in here. So we'll just use this one in here. It's already selected, you will find it in PSD, so we'll keep it to 100, and I will change the depth to +10, and I will just go to a stroke in here, so I will just make the size to 5, and I will keep the position to inside, and the blending mode normal and 100, but for the fill type I will change it to gradient this time. So I will just for this one in here I already have a gradient save it in here, so I will just use this gradient in here. You will find it too, so you will find it, and just click to it. It's called Avengers stroke gradient in here, because like it's kind of hard work to do. It will make a long time to do, so we just choose that, and I would choose reverse, because we want it to be shiny in here. Let's see, yeah, I think reverse looks good, and I will keep it linear, and for the angle I will change it to 140, and I will keep the scale to 100. Now I will go to the inner glow, and I will just keep the change the blending mode to normal, and the opacity 100%, and the color I will just choose black, like dark blue in here. Red is okay, and I will just make the technique softer. Here I will just keep the same, but in the shock I will choose 10, and the size is 16, and I will just keep this is like this. So now I will go to the satin, and I will change the blending mode to pen light in here, and I will change the color to this red, so which is EC1D 30, and press OK. As you can see, now I will keep it 50, and I will make the angle to -60, and the distance to 30, and the size I will make it 7, as you can see, Now I will just change the shock to this one in here. This is when we make it like look like really shiny, and you know, this effect, this really cool effect in here. Now I will go to the gradient overlay again, and I will just change the blending mode to luminosity this time, and I will again make the opacity to 22. Alright, something like that, because we want it to be look like, yeah, you will get that in a second, because we will apply the same gradient, or looks like it, because I already have it saved in here too, as you can see. This will because like down the opacity, this will give it this really shiny look to it. So I will just press OK, and I will again choose reverse, and to make it look like shiny we need like to change the angle. So I will change it to 140. As you can see, it will make it look like really nice. You can you know, adjust that, depend on your text, but I will just keep it 140, and that's it. So I will press OK. Let me see. Okay, looks cool. Press OK. As you can see, now we'll just, you know, make this it's like subtitle in here. So I will just make a new text for it. So I will just one click, and this time I will just choose impact. So we'll just type age of Ultron, and I will just replace it in here. Alright. Then we just double click to it, and then we choose a pattern overlay, and then we'll make it normal 100, and I will change it to this pattern in here. We'll find it, you find all this in the PSD, because I will upload this PSD. And I will go to the drop shadow, and I will just, let me see, oh, okay, and I will choose multiply, 96, it's already in here in default, and 103, and 4 for the distance, 40 for the spread, 10 for the size, and that's it. You know, if you want, you can make it like even 84 or something like that. And the pattern over there, you can just scale it as much as you want. Alright, you know, just find it 30 work best. So alright, there we go. This is how you create an Avengers text effects. It's a really long process, but it's worth the work on it, because it's really awesome. And you know, the great about this PSD, when I upload it, you can just change whatever you know, name you want, but by just double click to this one in here, and you know, you can just edit the text, you know, choose whatever, you know, just type whatever. And let's see, new shoot. Alright, something like that, you know. I don't want to you know, you can just delete A or whatever, but just press Ctrl S to save it. Now if I go back to the original PSD, as you can see, it will update it by default. See, this is really great. You can, you know, choose whatever, you know, you can just type whatever, and it will directly update it without going through all this layer size and everything. You can just use this PSD. So I will make sure to upload this PSD, and you know, I'm thinking of creating a series of these tutorials. So just of these, you know, type effect tutorials about superheroes movie. Let me know what you think about that. If you like this, I would just I make a series about that. And there you go. Don't forget to subscribe and comment, and have a nice day. Thank you for watching.